Welcome to a Band of Gamers podcast.
Roll with it.
Don't have where's me notes? See, I don't even know what to say, man. You're the
I put you on the spot. Man. Well, you started it. I'm like, this would be kind of cool. I don't have to do anything and just sit back. You know? All right. I'll do it. You're listening to a Band of Gamers podcasting since 2012. Three older best mates share a few laughs and keep you current with discussions about the latest news, consoles, and games. Join the conversation and the community. abandofgamers.com.
Welcome to a Band of Gamers podcast, your home of next-gen consoles.
What about last-gen consoles?
And last-gen consoles.
And retro.
And retro.
Go again.
Go again.
Hey, welcome everybody. It's ABOG. It's your pals over at a Band of Gamers. We're back.
Podcast.
We're back. It's been 2 weeks. It's been a fun-filled 2 weeks full of new shiny boxes, rearranging entertainment center space, getting some disc space on the gaming shelf for new $70 games eventually.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're here to talk about that Xbox Series X, which I picked up, and the PlayStation 5, which Shane and Karl were lucky to get their hands on. Things are, all three of these are hard to come by. There's three of us. All two of these consoles are hard to come by. Us three are hard to come by too.
Yeah, we sure are.
You know, one-of-a-kind fellas right here. Hey, hi, I'm Joel, your MC, one of your three co-hosts, recording in Brookfield. What's going on? Joining me on this podcast journey, first of all, from beautiful, gray, rainy, cold Birmingham, England. And I don't have the notes open, so I can't tell you what he wrote.
Wow.
Oh, wait.
I mean,
He's already
we go.
naming his new shiny, if you can believe that.
I am already doing that. Do you know what, though?
Thank you.
Joel, there is nothing in the agenda about the weather, but Joel's nailed it.
Yeah.
Absolutely nailed it.
It's hard
Yes,
to
I
determine.
am.
It's hard to guess that. This is our second recording. That's why we're goofing around here. Let me try this again. Already naming his new shiny. It's Karl. Hey, Karl.
Yeah, hello. Yes, I do like to name some of my devices, some of my the things that I own, which you shouldn't really name possessions, I guess. But my PS4 Pro, my Spider-Man 1 is called Peter, and I've been known to name other items as well. And the missus came up with a great name for the PS5. It has a similarity to Eva from Wally. So that's what we ended up naming it. So we've got a nice new little addition to the family.
When he said his missus named something, I thought he was going to go somewhere else. Did you catch that, Shane?
Yeah, I was wondering. I mean, if the console's name's Peter, then there's Peter must be named. Yeah.
And that's Shane. He's in Vancouver, Canada. Next gen shelf space. That's his line. Go for it. Hey, Shane, what's going on?
Oh, man, things that go on, boys. Yeah, I did some organizing. Had to make some room. Move the Vita games into where I keep all my retro games, because it's retro now to play Vita stuff. So got a little bit of room for some PS5 games if I ever get one. So looking forward to that.
Nice. Well, you did get one. Oh, you haven't. Oh, that's games. Gotcha. Games. $70 games. Man, so we recorded about half the episode. I had a file issue. We're starting over. So it's going to be even looser than the last one was, because we got to repeat some things.
It sure is.
Looser is better, boys.
Loosey-goosey. Yeah, of course.
It is. Well, we've got reviews, or first impressions. It's hard to say reviews. It's only been a couple weeks, and there's not really that many games yet. So let's go with impressions of the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Shane and Karl, why don't you get us started? Tell us all about that PlayStation 5.
I got mine through Amazon, and I got a out for delivery notice. And so I was like glued to the page, while I'm at work. You're super pumped. The PlayStation's gonna be here. So you're all fired up. And then I see the little delivery notice, and Amazon will sometimes they'll take a picture of the delivery, like outside your door or whatnot. So I looked at that, and outside the front door, there's a chair, like an old patio chair there, that for landlords. It doesn't matter. But it was sitting on there. But because the box is so big, it was kind of hanging off the chair, and I was just like, no, right? Because who knows? So I had to call the landlord. I'm like, hey, are you home? He's like, no. I'm like, shit. All right, is anybody home? He's like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, okay, there's a big box that's sitting outside. It's kind of important. I was wondering if you just bring it in the house and whatnot and keep it safe and whatnot. And they did. It was fantastic. But just seeing that picture of like maybe a third of the box hanging over this chair, like just ready to go, boys. So that was my initial delivery experience.
It doesn't sound too. It sounds more positive than mine to a degree. I got a notification the night before, and it was like, it's been dispatched. It's like, yes, come on, get in. And then you wait for that because I hadn't heard from Amazon at all, and I was like, okay, well, it's on its way. Panic over, and I was really busy with work, and so I couldn't check it. And the following morning, like usually, you wake up and you've got their email saying, "Oh, it's been dispatched out for delivery today," because the dispatch just means it's gone to the local depot or whatever, which is Stoke-on-Trent for me, which is miles away, and I'm there. I'm like, okay, well, started work I think I was up and working at 6:15 on Thursday. It was just one of them days. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm a bit early for that notification. Just a bit. An hour went by, no update. 2 hours went by, no update. 10 o'clock, I'm there going, someone's stolen my PS5. Like, you immediately go from naught to panic stations. And I had to go on, like, I went on the Amazon. It got to about 11 o'clock, and I went on the Amazon website and had a little chat and was like, where's my thing, hammering the where's my stuff key. And immediately, because I'd gone on and asked about that order, it immediately updated and said, it's out for delivery, it'll be with you, by lunchtime. So I was like, panic over. But you know all these stories about people losing the consoles, people getting consoles delivered and there was no console in it. People in the UK have had cat food and bags of rice and everything in these boxes from Amazon, but no console. So it arrived. I was relieved, and I thought, right, I'm gonna jump in and open this up. But I was a bit busy with work, so I didn't get a chance to dive straight in, and it took me, until the evening to finally break the seal, Shane.
Really? That's some mad patience, man. Which is weird because I ordered a bag of rice and got a PS5.
Pretty lucky.
It's a beefy boy. She is big, and getting it out of that box, that classic PlayStation packaging where you got a box within a box within a box, basically. And, you got that top shelf of cardboard, it's got your controller in there, all your cables, your manual, if people read manuals anymore. But all those goodies, a little bit of candy in there for you. There's not actual candy in there, so, but the candy is in HDMI cables and, all that stuff, all that goodies that you need. You take that shelf off, and then there it is in between these two unmolded recycled cardboard, kind of hanging on each end, and you got to reach.
There's
in
no
there.
shape.
Yeah, there's no shape to it. It's just not. It wasn't perfect. They could have done a little bit better job and just having like some really nice molded styrofoam or whatnot. But I guess you can't use styrofoam because then turtles are going to start snorting styrofoam or whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, save the turtles, man.
Yeah, I had to get the girlfriend to help me get it out of the box because it's heavy and awkward when you get your hands in there trying to pull it out. But good thing the girlfriend's there to help me with that.
Glad she's useful for something. That's good.
Yeah. I must admit, I bent down and picked it up out of the box, and it was a bit, it's got these wings on it, and you kind of put any weight on them, and they give a little bit. And I was thinking, right, this is a, arms around it, lifting it out like you're cradling a new baby kind of scenario. And unraveled it all, and I thought, yeah, it's pretty big looking machine. This is by far the biggest console I've ever seen. I've got this set up on either end of my TV in this room at the moment with the PS4 Pro, and it's almost twice the height. With when it's standing up on the stand, it's a big old machine. But But yeah, you get all the stuff out. There's a little stand in there as well, which fixing the stand was what took about a minute. Like, it was super straightforward. It's got a nice little compartment. Take the screw out, plug the screw in, and I think mine is vertical. I think, Shane, is yours lying down? Is yours horizontal?
Yeah, I got mine laying down. It's chilling. It's posing. It's laying. It's like the George Costanza when they had that painting and he's laying there. That's how mine's looking.
Mhm.
It's looking
Nice.
It's looking great, man. And just for the size of this thing, for our fellow beer drinkers out there, it is over 2 tall boys tall. That's a pretty lengthy console. It's a lengthy boy.
Yeah, that's pretty tall.
Sure is.
So
Sure is.
does it look better vertical to horizontal, or to you guys think it looks kind of good both ways?
I think when I tested it horizontal, I think the disk drive looks better when it's horizontal. Like, it looks more. I don't know. Like, it makes more sense when you've got the thing vertical. That disk drive sticks out like it's got one really wide hip. So you kind of want to turn that to the side. It's just not. I think if you've got to think about symmetry and things being looking, the correct standing up. If you got that turned away, it's fine. But it does look a bit of a bump on the side, the disk drive. But either way you have it, it's big. Like, there's no getting away from that.
Yeah, I always thought it looked great, kind of laying down. But I didn't think it would look that good. Like, now that I have it and it's laying there, it looks cool. It's a cool looking box, man. People, you have somebody over, they'll be like, "Whoa, what the hell is that?" Right? It's going to grab your attention immediately. It's a cool looking box. I'm really happy with when you see it in person and you have it there. It's it's got those white panels, but they're not really white. They're kind of like and not an off white or anything, just kind of like they got a little bit of a grayish kind of hint to them. So it's not like super bright. It's not, it's just, it's something to see. Like, when you get one, you're going to be impressed. All the fine little details on it. It's a piece of art, really.
Yeah. And then when you boot it up, like, when you power that thing up for the first time, you got all your cables in the box, you chuck it all together. And it obviously then lights up beautifully. It's got that little LED run going alongside the top, like on the curvature and stuff. And depending on what mode it's in, depends on what color it is. From blue to orange to white. It looks lovely when it's on. Again, it's set up as a breeze. Plug and play, pretty much. Shane, I don't know about you, mate, but I just whacked it in, and it said, if you've got the PlayStation app, which Shane pointed me in the direction of, and you just pop a QR code, it comes up on the TV, you get the app and you just scan the television and boom.
As far as the orientation, I don't want to get into the Xbox now, but I'm going to forget if I don't say this now. I stood up my Xbox Series X vertically, but the shape of that console, very different, obviously, than the design of the PlayStation 5. The Xbox Series X is like a rectangle. It's got a top with a fan and a grate there to blow all the heat out, and it's got a stand at the bottom. When it's standing up vertically, I didn't quite know which way it would lay down horizontally. Would the disk drive be at the top? Would it be at the bottom? So the first disc I put in, because a lot of the games I was playing initially were downloadable games. First disc I put in was a movie. My wife and I were going to watch a Packers game, actually. I've got some Packers games on DVD. Anyway, I had a disc read error. Like, oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Took out the disc, put a different disc in, like a store-bought disc at this point. Another disc read error. Like, what the crap? Then I get nervous. I ran to the shelf, grabbed a video game. Maybe it's just having problems reading movies. Put the video game in. We don't recognize this disc. There's nothing on it. I put it in upside down.
Yep. Dude, I did the same thing with the PS5.
Put it in upside down. Complete idiot. Yeah. Woke up the next day like, told my wife, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I put it in upside down. But because it's standing vertically, I didn't know. Is it obvious with the PlayStation when it's vertical, what sitting down side is? Because on the Xbox, I didn't realize which side would lay down horizontally.
I mean, probably not, because I did the same as you. and I might be in the minority, but to me, I've got it stood next to the PlayStation 4, so I put the disc in the same way that I would in the PS4. So facing to the left, if you like, if you're looking at it face on, it's vertical. I put it in with the label to the right and the disc to the left, whereas it needs to be flipped around, because when you think about it, when it's on that horizontal, you're putting it in with the label up.
Yep.
When it's horizontal. So, but I did the same as you, Joe. I put Demon Souls in there, and then I was like, oh no, it's broken. No, this is a disaster. And then it took me a second, and I went, oh, hang on, let me just flip that around.
It took me a whole night, dude. At this point, I was like, you know what? I don't even, if it's broke, I don't want to know till tomorrow. I've had it. Let's watch something else.
I love it. That's awesome. I'm glad I wasn't the only one there, mate. I feel a slight sense of relief now.
All right. Sorry to hijack your PlayStation 5 discussion. Just wanted to share that. I'm an idiot.
To see,
carry on.
Setup is an absolute breeze. Like Karl said, you get that QR code, and it sucks all your information right out of the app in there, and boom, you're ready to go. If you don't, I didn't use that feature, and it just, each page comes up, and it almost kind of holds your hand through all the steps, and putting in your ID, and it'll start asking you about certain settings you want, friend settings and privacy settings, and then there's for media apps like Twitch, YouTube, Disney Plus, that stuff. You can get that, like, as you're setting it up, you can click it. So, okay, download these, and it just starts downloading them right away. So that way they're right there on the dashboard once you get going. But it's an absolute breeze. It's foolproof. Nice, easy, and then once you get in there, boom, there you go, man. You got your PS5 all ready to go.
Hell yeah. And that interface as well, man, that's a pretty nifty little piece of kit as well. You're so used to the slow interfaces of the PS3. The PS4 was a lot better, but still, if you're flipping between applications, it can hang a little bit. It's not as responsive, particularly as the Xbox. The Xbox interface is a lot slicker. And this feels, a lot more. It's still got that Sony feel to it with the PS3 influence and the PS4, but it feels a little bit, like they've definitely leveled that up. It feels a lot more responsive, a lot more intuitive. Everything's easily where you would want it. It makes a lot of sense. So I've quite enjoyed just navigating around that, seeing what games I've got available. You've got that PS Plus collection. You just go on there and it's like, this is it. Download it. It's there. It's super, super slick. Is what I'd say.
Yep, you got those nice little icons at the top there for all your installed games that are there. Like Karl said, your PS Plus. You can get to your library to see all your games that you can download on there. Really, really super easy. And then just above that, you got the game tab, and then you got a media tab. So if you're big at the you've downloaded a bunch of movies or whatnot that you like to put on your PS4 or whatnot, you can easily go back and forth between, your media and whatnot and your game. It's really, really snappy, super simple, but it works, and it works well.
Is there a separate spot there for the PS Plus game collection? Or is it part of Plus that the PS4 collection that they added to PlayStation 5? Is that a separate item on the menu?
No, not a separate item. There's it's got your plus sign on there, and anything related to PlayStation Plus will be in there. And I noticed a really, really neat feature with that when you go down into there, because you download your free monthly games and whatnot, as well as your PS Plus collection. It's all going to be in there. But there's also a nice little icon in the top right once you're in there that'll take you right to your cloud saves. So everything there, and it's really, really easy, and immediately you can start downloading your saves and whatnot for like your PS4 games if you're putting on there. And there's another little icon right next to that, like kind of like the 3 dots, and that takes you right into your PS Plus membership. So you want to resubscribe or check the status of your membership and whatnot. All that is in there, nice, and everything's kind of all together under that PlayStation tab umbrella type thing.
Slick.
Yeah. And I like the one with the cloud stuff as well, Shane, where it differentiates between what's PS5 and what's PS4. So you can know which game saves you've got for which for which generation really, and that's really cool.
Wow, I've been spoiled Xbox fan over here. All the game saves are, I don't have to think about it. They just all automatically pull down. It pulls from the cloud automatically. I never have to look, download.
Nice.
It just immediately,
awesome.
and they syncs across all devices.
That's really, really cool. Hopefully they can integrate something like that, because I know it'll upload them kind of automatically if you have that setting kind of turned on. At least it did on the PS4. I'm not 100% on the PS5 just yet, but yeah, that's super cool that it's just automatically there.
Absolutely. So booting up, then we've got obviously we've had a little look at it. Got the wires connected in. Had a little problem with the HDMI, and none of my televisions are HDMI 2.1, so they're not able to have that full 4K 120 frames experience. Not that there's a ton of games that do that, but going forward, you'd imagine that there would be. So still got 4K 60, it's fine, but it would be nice if one of the televisions I owned was up to scratch there. But hey-ho, I'm sure I won't be the only one.
Yeah, and 1 month ago, we were barely having anything in 4K 60. Now look at our spoiled asses. Oh, crap, I can't get 4K 120. But everything's running, at least on the Xbox. I'm sure for the PlayStation 5 as well, guys. It's the 4K 60 is brilliant, because that's something we were promised with the Pro and with the Xbox One X that never really, most games weren't running at a full 60. It's nice to have that now. I can't imagine what 120 looks like, but it'll take a new television before I have that opportunity.
Yeah, that's going to be a while.
Same. Yeah, I just bought one. I'm not as tempting as it is to go buy a new TV so I could have 4K 120. It's like, nah. That's 60 60's great. It's plenty good.
And I've got to say, I've moved it around on so I've got a couple of 4K displays and one a really good 1080 set as well, and it still looks great on a 1080 TV. In 60, it obviously isn't running at 4K, but it still looks fantastic. The resolution is still just awesome. So it's still an upgrade. I think you're probably not going to run out of bowling if you haven't got a 4K set, but it's still there's enough there. I think to kind of justify it in your own head. Like I wouldn't say recommend it, but it's enough to in the argument with yourself to be like, yeah, that's okay. There's enough here to get me going on it. Big thing was made about the noise. Obviously, last generation, this thing is whisper quiet. I don't hear it. I don't know about you, Shanda, if you've had any kind of noise from it. The only noise I've had is when there's a disc in it. So it's just the disc drive, which I'd expect anyway. But when it's running a game, particularly digital stuff, it's really quiet.
I haven't played anything on a disc yet. I did put a disc in to the console the correct way, just to make sure that the disc drive worked and whatnot.
Look at you.
Yeah. Well, because mine's laying down, so it's a little bit obvious on which way once it's laying down. Standing up, that's an easy mistake anybody can make. That's but yeah, it's very quiet. I have noticed it purrs. It's got a nice little purr. It purrs like a kitty. Just it's just the fan going, but it's just got that. Oh yeah, it's just chilling, man. And I even went and put my hand around the side where the vents are, or the top, I should say, depending on which way you're just sitting, and just a nice cool breeze was coming out of there. There's no sign of any heat or anything. It's just really, really surprised with that. It's super, super quiet, man. You don't even notice it's on. If there's nothing else going on in the room, you might hear that little purr, but other than that, you don't even notice it.
All right, guys, it's out of the box. It's set up. It's not too hot. Now what? How's it play? What are you playing? What's it like? Tell me about the next gen experience, guys.
I think the major talking point has got to be the controller. Obviously, it's got a packed-in game, which we've heard about. Astro's Playroom. It's knocking off your HDR, your HDD space already. So you've got a game on there, and you've got less room to put your own games on. But that controller and that game works so well together, and it really opens your eyes about what this controller could do. And the game itself, I was playing a bit the other night, and I was messaging Shane. I was like, "This is an excellent game. Like, it's just a brilliant game in itself." I played through, because basically the premise of it is like you're the little robot as we've seen before from the other games on the previous generation. But you're almost doing a celebration of PlayStation. There's a level, there's four main kind of worlds centered around PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and you just go through them, and it does all sorts of mechanics with the controller. And experiencing like these haptic, the feedback, the haptic feedback on the triggers and stuff is just, it's revolutionary. Like I'm sure not a lot of games will use it as well as Astro uses it, but the controller blew me away. Like I took it out of the box and I was like, yeah, it's just a controller. But when you actually use it and play in a game that supports it, man, it's awesome. I had a grin on my face just playing the game.
Yeah, it's something else. That Astro game, I mean, that easily could be a $50 game and well worth it. It's a fun 3D platformer, and there's so many great, history of PlayStation, little throwbacks, little Easter eggs. I ran into the Killzone Hellgast army. It's great little things. There's so much charm to it, and right in that in the PlayStation history as well. It's fantastic. And when you start to experience what is possible with the controller and those, the R2 and L2, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, the way they feel and how they react. There's one part of the level where you're kind of in this suit that's got a spring on the bottom, and you got to kind of launch yourself through the level and get around. And the way it emulates the spring like just so well. And I threw in Borderlands 3 because there's a free upgrade for that for PlayStation 5. And firing off weapons it was unbelievable. Like I'd never experienced anything like that in a controller. Karl nailed it, man. It is honestly revolutionary, and it's going to be the big kind of advantage that Sony's going to have on PlayStation this generation is what can be done with that controller, because it's Astro's Playroom. You're running through and you're in he's got a little umbrella because it's raining, and in the controllers, the way the vibration is, you got to feel it to understand it, but you can feel all those little raindrops and all the little footsteps, and when he's walking through the mud, you feel that it's just all in there. It's something to experience. So every gamer should experience what this controller's like. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, when they've talked about the rumble and how that works, and again, it's just next level. Like it's bizarre. Like you boot up Astro, and the title of the game just comes into the middle of the screen, and he drops down onto the first letter of it and runs across this little title for the game, and then on the controller, you actually feel him land on one end of the controller, and you feel the footsteps as he moves along, and
wow,
it's just bizarre. Like in parts of the game, when if you're breaking glass, you feel the material, you feel that it's glass. In Demon Souls, when I was playing through that, like a sword on a shield, if you're blocking a sack, it feels metallic. Like it's bizarre to explain it, how it works. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of games that won't bother using it, but for those games, like it gave me the sensation of, wow, this is new stuff. Like that kind of I like from a new console. But yeah, I'm just surprised how good that game is. I've got to be honest. It's really fun. It's a really good little game.
I like the premise of that, kind of a big hug to PlayStation through all the generations. When you open a new console, that's the feeling you get, especially a longtime fan of a PlayStation, right? You want that. That's the feeling you already have. You already have the nostalgia feeling, like I have the new PlayStation. Oh my God, I remember the 3 and the 4 and the 2, and you're already in nostalgia mode. So for that game to go and tickle that at that exact moment, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it really is. There's one part where you unlocked or I unlocked because there's a little, I don't know, what's the word for it? Karl, help me out here. You can see the PlayStation controller or the PSP and whatnot. It's like, hey, you discovered, all these little parts, and one of them was the multi-tap from the PS2. Yeah, and you can kind of spin it around. I'm just like, that is so cool. It was just, Joel, you nailed it. Like, it's like, I got the new PlayStation, and it's just like all those old emotions from when you first got the PS3 or the PS2 or the PS1. It's just like they all come rushing back, and it's just it's so well done.
Yeah, I'm envious of that controller too. That does sound like everyone I'm hearing talking about it as like happily as you guys are, that they just love it. So looking for that, and I'm sure Xbox will have that soon. That'll be the chase. Yeah. They'll be chasing after that as well. And if third parties, it's very encouraging to hear that Borderlands 3 is already using it for its guns. I think if all the third parties are using that technology, they could very easily use it on the Xbox as well. Xbox will have to buy a new controller, damn it. But I want that next gen, next level controller. I'm envious. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot they can do with it. It'd be cool, like if in shooting games, and this may be a thing I don't know, but if the controller could give you an indication. So when you're getting shot in a shooting game, it could give you an indication of where the fire's coming from. If the vibration or the little, it's on the right hand side of the pad, like you look to your right, left hand side. There's a lot that I think that they could do with it. It's pretty cool. The other thing that was talked about a lot with this console, obviously, was the loading times. And, it was like, there will be no loading times. This SSD is going to be revolutionary and all the rest of it. It is really quick. I wouldn't say there's no loading times, but you can definitely see it's a quality of life change that is just so important. Demon's Souls, it's seamless. You start the game, cutscene, go straight into gameplay. If you die, you're straight back alive and straight in the fight. It really does feel like that. When they're making these promises, that they are keeping up with them. And I've tried Borderlands 3, Shane, like you, and you boot that game up. When I finally figured out how to upload the PS5 version of the game rather than just running the PS4 version from my external hard drive, we'll come to that in a minute. But when you boot the game up, Claptrap normally comes on and there's a loading bar and it takes ages and just not there. Like game, just you still get the intro screens with the developer and all the rest of it, and then it goes to the game. And the menu navigation in that game was awful on last generation. Like it was slow, it was clunky, it would hang. It's like butter now with this update for PS5. The game runs so well. And I was gobsmacked by that, Shane.
Yeah, spot on, mate. It really is. And not only that, like the download times as well is a lot quicker. I noticed. And my internet hasn't changed from the PS4 to the PS5, but it's super quick. Like they've definitely opened up a little bit more bandwidth for downloading stuff. It seems a lot quicker, and it's just all around just a nicer experience. Like this is what we this is what we want. You don't want to be sitting there. Oh, okay, we go to play a game and there's a giant patch and whatnot. Oh, okay, it's going to take a half hour or whatever. It's a lot quicker now. They've really made a lot of improvements in that way.
Have either of you guys tried the 3D audio?
I have not. Now I've heard you don't need like the 3D headset. Like it can work with the regular your home theater and whatnot. I have not yet. I just haven't had that much time yet. But I'll hopefully maybe by the next episode I'll have something to say about that.
Cool.
Yeah, I did try it. Well, I tried to experience it through headphones. Now you can plug them directly in your USB. You can go straight into the PlayStation this time around. You don't have to plug them into just straight into the controller. So depending on which headphones you had, sometimes the PC compatible ones wouldn't work. My headset worked and the sound quality was great, but I couldn't tell. There was nothing that jumped out at me to say whether the headset was compatible or, I don't think there's too many headsets that are compatible. I think the Arctis headset that I've got might be, but I need to double check it. But certainly the one above it is the wireless one. So, it sounded great, but I don't know if it was actually the 3D audio or not. But yeah, might need to do some more digging on that.
Yeah, I'm just curious if it'll be as you guys were both saying, the controller is kind of next level. I just wondered if the 3D audio is the same sort of next level feel, or I think all those headsets are supposed to be compatible. So it's potentially like maybe you just didn't notice anything different.
There is some settings you got to go in and I think turn it on and whatnot, and then it'll ask you for your desired preference. So what you'll do, I think there's about 5 different settings or different options, and you're supposed to go in there and just try each one, and whichever one sounds the best for you, stick with that.
Okay.
It's kind of obviously, but not obvious. And then that'll really show off the 3D audio, apparently.
All right, more on that later. All right, man. I mean, this is all build up. It's all foreplay. Yeah. What's the damn games play like? Come on, tell me what's going
on. Brilliant. From what I've played, I've had one minor issue with Bugsnax. That was the only thing I've had an issue with. It crashed. It bricked the PS5. That's the only thing, because I've tried everything on this machine to push it. And there's been lots of reports about rest mode not working correctly. The download queue has got an issue, things like that. So I never use rest mode anyway. So I thought that's fine. But for the purpose of testing it, I will do. And I've had it in and out of rest mode, jumping in and out, playing games, resuming games, and it's worked fine without an issue. When I quit out of Bugsnax, for the first time I played Bugsnax, I quit out the game, and I just had a colourful screen. Couldn't do anything. So I had to press and hold down that PlayStation button for a long time to try and reset it, and then you had to repair the hard drive and everything else. So it's one thing, but I've got my eye on it. I have. It's happened a load of times on the PS4 Pro over the years, to be honest. Like it's not something that doesn't happen. But on the first day, that's perhaps something to keep an eye out. But
right. Get that anxiety going, huh?
Oh,
what did I get?
A little bit.
Right.
But it was, other than that, it's played like a charm. I've played Genshin Impact on there, which obviously I'm playing that game all the time. That game looks incredible on it. No upgrade needed. There isn't a PS5 upgrade version like there is with Borderlands. It just takes the PS4 version. You have to transfer it from the external hard drive onto the SSD to run it with the boost, the boost in performance. But yeah, that runs at 60 frames. The draw distance is increased. Like, it just looks beautiful. It looks better on there than it does on my PC, in all fairness. Played Demon's Souls, obviously. That looks incredible. That's the best looking game I've ever seen. I think it's just, the lighting is jaw dropping. And I remember when Killzone Shadowfall came out on the PS4, when we first got the PS4s, and I was like, oh man, this lighting, and we've seen it with Gears. There's some wicked lighting in Gears over the years on the Xbox. But the lighting in Demon's Souls, I couldn't get over it. I was like, you start off in this little corridor, and I just kept walking back and forward because there's lights coming through at different points, and the reflections and the detail when it's kind of chinking off your armor in different directions and then back onto the wall. And I'm like, this is just gorgeous. And that was in performance mode. That was you can play it in 60 frames in 60 frames in, I think it's 1080, 50, 60 frames. And that's performance mode. It's gorgeous. The HDR is amazing. And you can play in 4K 30, which is basically boosting the resolution and the shininess of it, but it still looks phenomenal in performance mode. So I don't know what they've done, but it never drops frames. It's just amazing.
Yeah, for me, outside of Astro's Playroom and Borderlands 3, that's it for my PlayStation 5 games at the moment. But I put the Crew 2 on there. It's one of my favorite race games of all time, and it loads super fast. It's cleaned up a little bit. It definitely, you can see in some of the textures are a little bit nicer. It's not massively noticeable, but some little things for the amount of hours I've put into that game, I can tell it's a little bit cleaner. NHL on there because it's my game and I'm just playing it a ton, so that's on there. I mean, there's no noticeable difference other than everything's just so much snappier and loading much more properly. Yeah, just a couple racing games, the Need for Speed remastered and whatnot, super smooth, very, 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 very pretty to look at. But yeah, we'll have to get in there. Maybe over the holiday season, might see a little, a deal on Spider-Man or something. That's still on my list. That's definitely going to be probably the first PS5 game I pick up. But with new gaming prices, it's I want that Spider-Man remastered on there as well. I don't just want the Miles Morales. I'll play through the game again. It's a great game, and I want to see that on there with the ray tracing and whatnot. It's from the clips I've seen, the game's jaw dropping. That's the one that's really going to show off the console. So, we'll get that a little bit down the road right now.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point about the cost of the games.
Thank you.
I ummed and ahed. I didn't want to push the button and pay £70 for Demon's Souls. I didn't. I almost didn't. And I was like, I'll rent it, sod it. But I know it's a game from looking at Dark Souls 3, like I've played hundreds and hundreds of hours. I will never finish the bloody thing, but I know that this is a game I want long term. But it was a real pull to try and think, do I really want to be supporting this £70 a game thing? It's a bit gross, but it is what it is. We got to do it if we want the games. Just quickly on the Borderlands 3 thing, like some of these games will move seamlessly. If you put an external hard drive onto your PS5, you can run the games off it. But if you want the boost and the performance, you need to transfer those games onto the PS5 SSD in order to run them better. Borderlands 3, Xbox sounds seamless, and I'm sure Joel you'll cover this in a minute. But when I moved Borderlands 3 across, I was like, right, unplug the PS4 hard drive, whack it in the PS5, and it didn't run particularly any better. And I was like, I wonder what I've done here. So then I had to move it across from the hard drive onto the PS5. When I did that, my character was gone, and I was like, okay, so I need to move my game save across. Then I had to reinstall it on the PS4 because you have to upload your game save in-game on the PS4 in order to download it on the PS5. So this is a faff, right? Which I did eventually, and then it was running like beautifully and all the rest of it. But that is just, it's great having backwards compatibility. It's just a shame that it's not as intuitive as the Xbox in terms of just pulling those game saves. It'd be great if that step wasn't there for me. But other than that, that's my only niggle.
It's a pretty significant niggle, though, dude. That's pretty crappy. Yeah. That would have been frustrating to me. I mean, it takes you out of the game for what, half hour, 45 minutes? Going and getting that all situated just to play the game that you tried to play initially.
Yeah, for sure. And it can be a little bit confusing as well because there's the upgrade pack in the PlayStation Store, which will actually download the PS5 version of Borderlands 3. And when I initially did that, I was just kind of like knee-jerk reaction. I was way too excited, like way too excited. I was all hopped up on chicken nugget wraps and whatnot. Couple tall boys, and I had them both downloaded, the PS5 version and the PS4 version, both downloaded onto the hard drive. So
weird.
Yeah. So a little bit of a learning curve, just trying to figure out. But then once you notice, little things like that, then you only make that mistake once, right? But yeah, Borderlands, just like when the PS4 version of the Handsome Collection came out, you got to go in the actual game, upload the save, and do it that way. They got their hands all over it, the Gearbox boys. So, yeah.
I guess that explains that smart delivery thing that everyone's been kind of like, what the hell is this all about?
Yeah. Right.
At least, yeah, I guess that makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Joel.
My turn.
I think you've had the next gen console longer than both of us. You probably had it for a couple of weeks now, almost. So had some time to put it through its paces. So what's it been like, man? Tell us about the Xbox Series X.
You got it, bro. It's been just less than 2 weeks I've got it. So I think just after we recorded, it showed up a couple days later, last episode. And taking it out of the box, the presentation was really nice. It's kind of dead center in the middle of the box. To be honest, I could give a shit about the presentation, but it was nice, It is. It had that next gen presentation feel.
Right.
Coming soon.
I've seen unboxing videos and the way the box opens and it's kind of sitting there. I mean, we got to give Xbox a point right there, man. They win the presentation of the unboxing, hands down.
Yep. So for those that minute and a half that you're taking out of the box, it's a very great experience.
Very satisfying.
Yeah. Plugged it in. I already had a 2.1 cable ready, even though my television isn't 2.1. I already went and bought the cable because I'm that kind of nerd. So I had it all hooked up, had it wired through the wall, ready to go. I didn't want to have to deal with that when I got it out of the box. Plugged it into the cable, HDMI, plugged it into the wall, power, fired it up to the TV. It asked me to go to the Xbox app, which I have on my phone, and immediately started to set up the console for me. Just right through the app on my iPhone, started to set the console up. It pulled down all the settings for my Xbox One X, all of the customization I've put into that console as far as the home screen, the different groupings and the panes, the different screens that you can customize. It put that same familiar setup right to the console. Wonderful. It was a very easy, simple setup, and I was right at home with my dashboard. There it is. There's the dashboard. That's it. That's the one I've been using for the last month or two since they upgraded it. So nothing new or flashy there. I think there's a dynamic background that's a little different. But besides that, it's just the same old Xbox background or dashboard. And it's very snappy. I'm a fan of the Xbox dashboard. I know it gets ripped on by a lot of people and they say it's clunky. And Shane, you're right though. After you pointed this out, I've noticed it more. There are some advertisements that you have to kind of deal with. Mostly it's game advertisements. I think their thought philosophy, besides obviously selling you stuff, is to recommend, have it be like a curated sometimes setup where they'll put games out there that might fit your style or something. I don't know. It's all advertising.
Yeah, they're all suggesting, something. Hey, you're probably going to like this. It's over here. Take a look.
I kind of like that, though, because the Xbox Game Pass can be overwhelming. I mean, there's over 100 games in there, and to have one or two kind of featured on occasion may bring something to my attention that I completely wouldn't have noticed if it were just a tile in the store. So I kind of like it. It's not curated. It's not like, oh, you play this. I said that wrong. But the advertising is, I find it helpful. And you can just completely customize your home screen where that stuff isn't much in the way. But it does have that more interactive advertising kind of going on at times. I'm going way down this path I shouldn't be. It was a very smooth setup. Easy, smooth. I was right at home, there on the new console. So I had to download all my games again. They don't automatically download. So all my settings, everything is right there for me. But all the games that I had on the other console are not yet loaded to the new console. So I could have plugged in an external, which I have. But I know that if you play them on the actual hard drive, the SSD, you get the faster load times. That's important to me. It's part of that first experience. I want to see those load times. So I didn't just want to plug in an external. So I downloaded Forza Horizon 4, Gears of War 5. Some of the games I've been hearing that are supposed to have like a real Series X enhanced kind of setup, the smart delivery. I played Forza Horizon 4 pretty quick. 4K 60, solid. It plays wonderfully. It's already a good game, but now it's even better. I mean, it's not like it looks. Let me get some better reflections and things, but it just looked amazing. Of course, I'm playing in the winter right now in that game, so you're not getting full advantage of like the sun effects and stuff. But just noticeable how slick it is at 60 frames solid.
Yeah,
makes some of those older games brand new again. Like it makes you want to dive in there and all right, let's make some progress. Like it makes them feel new. That's really cool, man.
Yeah, the cloud saves are seamless. I talked about this earlier. I don't have to think about at all, did I get my cloud save? That all happens automatically. There is zero thought that goes into that. It's so smooth. My saves in the cloud, I never see it upload. I never see it download. I never even have to think about it. It doesn't even stop and say, hold on, we're downloading something. It's just slick. It's there. Your game continues exactly where you left off on the other console. You don't even have to worry about it. So that after hearing you guys talk about the PlayStation 5 that way, I feel kind of spoiled because that's really slick. The load times, I noticed that right away. The SSD load screens they're so much quicker. And Xbox Series X and S has the quick resume feature, which I don't think you guys have on the PlayStation 5. Quick resume is phenomenal. And it's not working on all the games yet. So it wasn't working on Forza Horizon 4, but I started playing the Batman Arkham Knight, which is on Game Pass, and I hear has a hell of it just runs better, like Borderlands 3, faster, runs better. I've been just hearing about it on Digital Foundry. So I downloaded that game, started playing it. I can turn off the console, come back, turn it on, and the game is it's almost like a pause. It's the equivalent of pausing your game, walking away for a day, coming back and unpausing it. It's so slick, that quick resume.
There is something like that. I'll be honest, I haven't actually tried it, but I noticed with Astra's Playroom, there's these little cards that come up. When you're in on the home screen of the actual console, not in the game or anything, but you can access these cards and you can resume right where you've left off. But I haven't, like I said, I haven't tried it myself because I'm just so used to just, booting the game back up and going through it that way. There's too many new features for a young guy like me, but so there's some kind of similar, I want to say, but I'll definitely try it. I'll try that out.
Yeah. It's
I think the difference on the PS5 is I think it's one game. So I think you can dip out of one, load another one up, and you can go back to the other one. But I think it only works with just one, I think. Whereas I think on the Xbox, you can do it for, is it up to 6 games or something? You can just drop out and I'm done with this, and I'll go back to that in a day or two. That seems really cool. That's and again, I suppose it depends on your habits for games. If you're jumping in for a quick 20 minutes here and there, you just I don't know how long I'm going to be now, and if I come back tomorrow, it's fine. But me personally, I'd always power down and walk off anyway. When I'm done. But it's a quality of life thing, and that's what a lot of these things are, isn't it? It's just quality of life. The fast load times has been able to jump between. So say if you're playing, Joel, if you get well into Gears, and a buddy's on Forza, you can just open Forza up, and it's open straight away, and you're playing. And then when you're done, you're I'll go and play Gears again now, and it picks exactly up where you were. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's that quality of life thing. The cloud saves, the quick resume, the SSD, the really fast load times, the 4K 60 frames. This is a great machine with a lot of potential that is not yet realized. I don't have a next level controller. I like the new Xbox Series X controller. It's the same controller with some different grippies. The trigger buttons have some grip to them. The controller has a little bit of a grit, almost like a sand kind of a grip to it. It's slightly smaller, minutely different, but it's the same controller. I don't have the fancier. Xbox has had haptic feedback for a while. The triggers do have a push and pull. You can feel in the trigger. Some games take advantage, but not to the level that you're talking about with the PlayStation 5 or the Switch has that rumble in it that just, there are certain games where you're shaking, I forget which game it is, you shake like an ice cube in a glass and you can just feel the ice cube kind of going back and forth in the glass. That awesome level of feedback. It doesn't have that. So I haven't had a next gen experience yet with the Xbox Series X. It's all quality of life improvements. It feels exactly like an upgraded, I bought a really great PC. I can still play all the games I love, and they're faster, they look better, they run quicker, they load quicker, but they're the same games. I don't have a Demon's Souls. I don't have a Spider-Man Miles Morales to push this machine yet. So the potential is not yet realized. There's no game I can go buy right now that will show the full potential of this console. That's a ways off. So I'm very pleased with the Series X. I feel like it's going to be a great machine once it has all of those great games to go along with it. But right now it's like an Xbox One X to an Xbox One. It's an upgrade. It feels like an upgrade. It's a great machine. But I can't review it until a year from now, maybe longer, before we really see what this thing is capable of. So I see a lot of videos. I like watching YouTube guitar videos. Man, I get so deep in guitar pedal videos and guitar videos, it's ridiculous. But you see all these guys out there like PlayStation 5 versus Xbox Series X, which one's better? Who the F knows? It's so premature. Right now, I'm willing to bet the PlayStation 5 is better. It's got a couple games on it that really shine. It's got that controller. It's got the packing game people love. You know, if you're only looking at today, PlayStation 5's the winner, man. But from what I can tell with the Xbox Series X, 2 years from now, it's got potential to be a better console. And that's something you could not say about the Xbox One compared to the PlayStation 4. Because it was abundantly clear that the first party games on the PlayStation 4 were going to make that the system. And that's how it played out. You know, they had those first party games, and Xbox One struggled to get that really great first party titles. And I mean, a lot of promise. Crackdown 3. Man, I was excited about that, but you know, all right. And Forza Horizon 4 was great, and Gears 5 was great, but just didn't have new experiences. It's the same games. It's the Halo. It's the Gears. It's the new Forza Horizon. Once all these purchases they made, like ZeniMax and Bethesda, and there is a bright future on the horizon for this box. And I think it's setting itself up to go toe to toe with that PlayStation's best of the first party games. It may even beat it. But today, no. Today the PlayStation 5's better. But I'm pretty happy with the Series X.
Yeah, I think whichever console you've got, I think you're going to be happy with what we've talked about. Just the better resolution, better frame rate, loading times. That thing goes across both consoles. The interesting thing about the PS5 next year will be, you know, obviously it's launched, and let's face it, the launch window hasn't been great for either. Like, yes, the PS5 has got a couple more games, but it's still not like a home run. I mean, Demon's Souls is gorgeous. It's brilliant. Like, it's a great remaster, but it is a remaster of a PS3 game, and it's 70 quid. Like, that's got to go, you know, as great as the game is, you have to kind of hold that against it a little bit. Okay. And Miles Morales looks awesome. Like, I'm looking forward to playing that. But, you know, I guess what they've done that they haven't done before, usually they're coming out and saying, you know, look at Last of Us 2, it's coming out in 7 years. This time round, they're like, God of War 2, 2021. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn sequel for that is 2021. So we know that all things being equal, next year there's going to be a new God of War, there's going to be a new Horizon, and I think that there's probably a couple of others that we don't know.
Gran Turismo 7 is supposed to be first half of 2021, which for Sony, that's unheard of. It's always, you know, like Karl said, like 2024 or something, or you don't know. You're just waiting E3 after E3 after E3, hoping for some sort of an announcement or release date or something, or even just a new trailer or something. Yeah.
And we got Ratchet and Clank and things like that. So it seems to me that perhaps they've, I don't know, some of the things that they should have been jumping up and down about and singing and dancing about. Like, I understand why they didn't do it backwards compatibility, because it isn't seamless. Like, it does work, and it works for all the games, great, but it just takes a little bit more effort. So perhaps they weren't jumping up and down about it. But the controller's incredible. Like, I don't understand why it's not been. And Astro is a wicked game. Like, I don't understand why they weren't like it comes with a game, and it's a great game. Like, it doesn't seem that it was pushed. It's like, it's more of a tech demo, but it's actually a full game. You know, I compared it the other night with Shane to Mario Odyssey, like, in terms of how much fun they had. Like, you know, you're going around collecting the coins, platforms. Like, it's challenging without being too difficult and things like that. And I just feel like that perhaps they're underselling this a little bit. and maybe not. They've got a bit big for their boots last generation, so maybe they just let the console do the talking, let the games do the talking. And I think unless Microsoft have Halo next year, and Halo is a home run, I don't know what other games they've got. I don't know if Forza Horizon comes out next year, or if Forza 8, I guess, or whatever it will be, is next year. I'm not sure. That we don't know when things are going to land, but it already looks like it's going to be competitive.
Yeah, Xbox is resting on its phenomenal Game Pass service.
Yeah.
No, Game Pass is amazing. They just added that EA Play as part of Game Pass now. So you get you get all the EA Vault games included with your Game Pass as part of the service, no additional cost. So you've got just a ton of games from EA in there. They're all like a year or older, but it's all of them. And they're all in Game Pass. All their first-party games are in there. There's some great independent titles in there. I'm worried that if Xbox doesn't have a game or two in 2021, that it might be too late. They really got to hit the ground running here, and I think PlayStation will, with Ratchet and Clank, the next Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War 2, whatever it's called. That might be enough to get their footing and just take off like they did last time. Xbox spent a lot of time trying to overcome the bad messaging, and they never overcame it. Well, part of the problem is they never really had amazing games to overcome it either. Third-party games on the Xbox One X, dude, they played better than they did on the PlayStation 4. They totally did. But who cares? They played fine on the PlayStation 4, and everybody had a 4, and they're like, whatever, dude. Yeah, yours is a little better. Okay. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. You need the Digital Foundry guys to show you how it's better. And you see them show you, and you're like, oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Something you'd never see with your eye. It's like a really good producer, Michael Mann. He was on our show a long time ago. He's like, dude, a lot of people complain about MP3 files suck, and he's like, to most people's ears, they don't even know the damn difference. I love
MP3 files.
You have to have
That's my preferred format.
Got to have a finely tuned ear and a finely tuned eye. You don't even see these little minute differences that all the nerds are arguing about. It doesn't matter. So I feel like the Xbox is a great investment. Quality of life wise, I think it's better. But I don't got any game. I can't go to the store and get a brand new game to really show that thing off. So I'm envious of the PlayStation 5 owners right now. In 2 years, I'll be able to hold it up, I think, like, yeah, I'm validated. But today, I'm like, it's just a PC upgrade, it feels like. I mean, it's setting itself up for a great future. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. It's great.
Yeah.
All my games run smooth and look great. And it's the same games, though, that the whole, if you didn't like their games last year, well, it's not much different now. They just all run and look and play better.
Yeah, it's got that V12 in there. So there's like, Joel, you nailed it, man. That's really well said. I don't even know. I have nothing to add to that. That is, yeah, you guys spot on, man. See, this is why we do it together, man. This is why we're here.
How long before I buy a PlayStation 5? Do you think I can hold out, or am I going to just be predictions? Can Joel hold out? I decided on one system, but how long can I go without a new next gen game? I see that Spider-Man Miles Morales running on a PS5 and videos, and I'm like, oh my God, look at that. I don't have one of those. Can I wait 2 years, year and a half, a year? That new Halo is supposed to be in that box, and it got delayed. It wasn't ready. I don't want them to put it out if it's not ready. But man, that would have made a world of difference to have at least one game there to show it off. But as it stands, I got nothing. Just the same games looking and playing even better. And a disk drive that I can't figure out how to put a disk into.
But hey, with our backlogs, why not? It doesn't. It's just an excuse to play those games even better than they were originally intended. So why not?
For the backlog, it's a great situation. Because man, I'm hitting some backlog stuff, and we'll talk about it next show and after. But yep, it definitely focuses my attention to that backlog. No question. So I'm excited, but to see people reviewing this console right now, I think that's lame. You can't, they're a year early. I said this for weeks, months. They're a year early. PlayStation's maybe a couple months early. They are going to have the software here real soon. We shall see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's, you know what? It's just got two great boxes. You know, there's a lot of excitement coming down the road. You know, there's going to be some great games. We got a lot to look forward to. We really do. And, you know, it's going to be a fun generation. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's helpful right now with the way the world is going. Just to have, even if I don't have a brand new game to show off the Xbox Series X, I feel very fortunate to have gotten it. I feel it's exciting to get a new console. It's exciting in a time right now with the world's like fucking burning up. You know, everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Just to have something to look forward to, even if it's just playing games I've played before and now they play and look better. Or maybe a backlog game that I didn't play Borderlands 3, but now I might play it because there's a Series X enhancement.
Yeah. It would be the best way to play it. Like it's, you know, you can kind of, you know, say, like you said, there's, you know, no game you can run out and buy now to show it off. But all those games in that library, I mean, they're going to be playing and looking better than ever. And, you know, if there's something in that backlog that you've been thinking about playing, you know, there's no better time to attack it and pop it in there.
Yep. It's already got a leg up on the PlayStation 5 on third-party titles, but they don't have those first-party games. So, hey, according to Digital Foundry, my Valhalla looks better than yours, but you won't even notice it unless those guys show it to you in slow motion.
Well, exactly. I mean, and even then, like it's, I think the PS5 done that video. They both come out on top in different areas. It's very strange. Both Valhalla and there's another one I saw. I can't remember what game it was, but it's interesting. Like both consoles are going to do a grand job, and whichever one you've got, you're going to be happy. But would I buy one right now if I wasn't doing this show? Probably not.
Too late.
That's a good point, though. You know, that is a good point. I mean,
we all want these things now.
It felt like an obligation to, you know, because of, you know, we do this show. We got to get our hands on them, you know, right away and whatnot. And I'm glad I'm not the only one that kind of felt like that.
No, we gotta stop with that. We gotta stop with that. We all want this shit. Come on, it's exciting. You know, if I could walk into a store right now and buy a PlayStation 5, I would. All
right, let's go.
Okay. Yeah, so within 12 months you'll have one.
Yeah.
As long as we can stop at 1840.
Oh,
I'm there.
Man, I'd give a left testicle to go to 1840 and drink a tapper. Man, it's been forever. It's been since March.
Oh yeah.
So we got to heal up. We got to get back to normal here soon. Well, it's been an hour, guys, you know, and it's been a good hour. We got plenty of games to play, lots of backlog. We're refreshed to play some new stuff. I've been kind of playing a lot of guitar. I've been playing a lot of games. I got the new console. I'm like, I'm playing some games. I've just been all excited again. I'm getting it's all like, you know, re-energized. It's fun. Just in time for winter when it's like too cold outside to do much. So great timing.
Amen.
Yeah. So I am drinking. Let's share what's in our beer glass. Let's get the hell out of here. I have got a 3 Floyds called Permanent Funeral.
Ooh.
And it's got very cool artwork. It's a collab with a band, Pig Destroyer. It's like a very metal looking artwork.
The band is called Pig Destroyer.
That's right. Pig Destroyer.
That's badass.
3 Floyds, the guys behind the beers there, apparently are big metalheads. So they tend to have these more metal style artwork. And this is an actual collab. They did a collab with Cannibal Corpse. They did a collab with them previously.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they've just done, this is Pig Destroyer. It doesn't matter who the collab is with. This beer right here is so hoppy. I love just like when we first got into IPAs years ago on this podcast, it was all about just that really intense hoppy taste. Then we got into like New England IPAs and all the like sugary ones, and there's all these different types of beers now that we drink. But this just brings it all the way back, full circle back to just the hoppy, strong. It hits the tongue right away, and you're like, oh, you get that little bitter face. Ooh, it's so good. So I hope they keep making it. They're available in 4-packs. I've been able to find them for a while. And I don't know if it's seasonal or what, but man, it's got a very hoppy taste, kind of more of the darker hoppy color. It's not a New England IPA. It's not a hipster IPA. It's just a damn good hoppy IPA. That's what I'm drinking.
All right. Well, I'm on the other end of the spectrum because mine isn't very hoppy at all. Does have a very nice red color to it.
Oh yeah,
this is really, really wild. This is a 100-month-old Ocean Spray Merlot because I was a little bit foolish last night and drank way too much. So I decided today I will not be partaking in a beer. I am going to, settle down for a few days here. I've been cutting down during the week and whatnot, but when you do that and then all of a sudden, it's Saturday night and you got some good conversation going with some friends and, the beers are flowing or tasting good. And then before you know it, it's like 11 o'clock and, you got to get up early and whatnot. And yeah, it was a bad mix, but man, I'm always pumped to be here and I'm always fired up with my boys. So no troubles that way, but you know what? Sometimes you can take the night off, we'll say. So just enjoying this delicious 100-month Merlot.
Awesome.
But you always had me when you said a Merlot earlier on. I had to run to the fridge then because I forgot to get mine out. I've had a few of these beers. Another one from this DEYA brewery that was recommended by one of our friends in Discord, and this one saturated in Amarillo. It's probably my favourite one that I've had of theirs. It's I love these cans. And I said last week or last episode when we recorded it, they've got these random stickers on there. This is a single hop, a double IPA, and you can see the little hops there on coming down a rainbow. It's very colourful. It's 8%, so it's respectable, good punchy weight. I don't know what Shane would give that on the boxing scale,
right?
But this is a hell of a good beer. Like it's nice and cloudy. You can't see through that.
Whoa.
Not quite orange juice, but it's almost there.
Frothy.
It got a real white foam on there that sits on there for a good while. Lots of obviously the usual kind of tropicalness in the fruit and stuff. But there's a bit of apricot in there that comes through, which is really nice. But it's phenomenally smooth. Like and it's just got that hint of the bitterness, but the hint of the sweetness. It's just silk. Like it's so good. This is my last one of these as well, unfortunately. But DEYA, this brewery is pretty good, man. If you're in and around Cheltenham in the UK, go check them out.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I think it's a Fact 23 to get the numbers right. I think it's a 2-3. They're in Discord for all the great beers he's been suggesting, and Karl's been smiling over there thanks to Dude's suggestions. So thanks a lot, buddy. That's fantastic. If you'd like to join us in Discord, we'd love to have you. We've got a Cheers channel in there. We're sharing our beers, maybe too often, but it's a lot of fun. Let's see what you're drinking. Find something new. I love discovering new beers as well, just like we do music and video games. So thank you for hanging with us. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks. If you didn't get a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series S or X, hang in there. Hope you find one.
Yep, there's lots more coming. The manufacturing is ramping up.
Yep.
You have one before you know it, bud.
All right, everybody. Take care. See ya.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hoppy.
Oh, yeah. Almost as good as that DualSense controller.
Oh, yeah. Bastard.